Good afternoon. My topic is Interactive Temples, the future of Taiwanese religious practice in virtual spaces. There are 3 research questions. Question 1. What recommendations can be made for the development of Taiwanese religious practices within the virtual world, and why are these suggestions significant? Question 2. To what extent do Buddhist and Taoist practitioners in Taiwan accept the digitization of temples? And could digital temples reduce visits to physical temple? Question 3. How receptive are Taiwanese Buddhist and Taoist believers to guidance provided by online divination? Now, I want to introduce my topic. Campbell described new media forms offer a platform for the public performance and reimagine of religious identities, which can help shape individual and communal narratives in a new public space. In the digital era, communication technology has significantly reshaped religious practices. What I mean about the virtual space. One of the most eye-catching examples is the rise of cyber churches, which have developed from simple web forum to immersive and interactive worship environments. For example, after using Second Life, Tyler claimed herself as a digital native who found God in the virtual world. What is happening now? A notable instance of this online worship experience is offered through a platform like Second Life. In Second Life, users can create customized avatars to participate in virtual religious practices, such as attending services at places like Dornoch Cathedral in Scotland. This imaginative 3D world allows users to easily teleport to various locations, providing a unique way to engage in religious rituals. Figure 2 is my avatar created in Second Life. What is going to happen in the future? The most unique thing about games in Second Life is that residents retain all the intellectual property rights to their own creation, McMahon said. Figure 3, you can see Second Life charges money if we want to use extra service. Despite its potential, Second Life lacked a specific mission and was not recognized as a game. That contributed to a decline in its user base over time. The decline prompted us to reconsider the role and purpose of religious practices in a digital realm. How will this affect us? Moving religious rituals online raises an interesting question. Could this shift undermine traditional offline authority, or does the diversification of online religious practices provide broader benefits? By making rituals accessible online, this approach has the potential to support mental health, enabling especially Buddhist and Taoist around the world to participate in rituals without needing to travel to physical temples. This digital transformation could ultimately extend the reach and accessibility of these practices, allowing for a deeper connection to spiritual traditions. A brief history of religious practice in Taiwan. Which religion we are talking about? This research focuses specifically on Taiwan, where folk beliefs play a vital role in the culture. According to the International Center for Law and Religious Studies, approximately 93% of people in Taiwan identify themselves as Buddhist, Taoist, and the practitioners of Chinese folk religion. Usually, in temples, There are deities from these three different religions. Figure 4 is a typical temple we have in Taiwan. The main gods we pray are Guanyin, Guangong, and Mazu. Homola said, the decay of modernist discourse in connection with the democratization process and the development of the Taiwanization movement in the 1990s explain why divination practices were popularized in the 1990s. Divination holds a significant and popular place in Taiwanese religious practices. Figure 5 is an example. It's the street of fortune-telling. What are those practices? Pui is one of the fortune-telling tools people use quite often within the temples. Figure 6 is Pui and gods in the temple. Figure 7, how Pui throwing works. Figure 8, divination sticks can reveal the gods' messages. Figure 9, 3 affirmative Pui throws means we are allowed to get a response from deities. In Taiwan, most temples offer Pui divination for believers to use in their prayers. After receiving 3 affirmative Pui throws, as shown in Figure 9, individual may select a divination stick to interpret a message from the gods. This message, which could be either a warning or a blessing, is often carefully considered by worshipper. We will have more examples later. Here are some debates surrounding Pui divination. Homola stated, the method using divination sticks is a sign that the god of the temple is considered to be Ling, effective. However, Jordan described, Pui divination is often deliberately manipulated by Taiwanese people, even though they take the outcomes seriously, believing them to be guided by divine will. Meanwhile, Luo Zhenxing explains that Taiwanese divination plays a role similar to that of Western psychologists, but it's far more adapted to Taiwanese society. For local people, Pui divination is not due to irrational fanaticism, but because it serves as a convincing tool that helps people cope with the increasing social pressure of modern life. What do I mean by the virtual religious spaces in Taiwan? Many temples, such as Chenghuang Temple and Mazu Temple, have embraced the digital age by offering online Pui divination for those seeking immediate inner peace. Figure 10 and Figure 11 are the examples of online Pui throwing. Buddhism has increasingly found its place in new media, promoting the importance of portable religious practice. At the 2019 exhibition, Mazu in Taipei, Silk FX showcased a world-class depiction of the traditional Mazu pilgrimage, Taiwanese temple architecture, and Bakajong culture, utilizing cutting-edge digital multimedia technology. Here is the example. What I think about this right now, the primary purpose of creating online point divination is to allow believers to find peace without waiting until the next day to visit a physical temple because it's not open 24/7. The convenience of this online service meets the immediate needs of believers, similar to how cyber churches in Second Life help people get through the COVID-19 lockdown. What I think the future is going to be like. Yu et al. Stated, the art of storytelling has always been under the impaction of new technologies. In 1983, before the advent of the internet, physical storybooks were the dominant medium for sharing narratives. Since the internet invention, stories that capture human experiences has been shared across a wide range of media platforms and devices such as mobile phones. This is the example from the interactive book created by Stand Plus Stare, 2023, Retirement Reloaded, Wonderful Woman of Words. Integrating storytellings into video games can increase the audience understanding of an event's origins and facilitate interactive engagement with the story's character, making it particularly appealing for children and new learners. Through this approach, traditional Taiwanese temple culture could become more accessible in the future. Video game mirrors the general culture practice in real life and reflects it via its own culture inside the game. Sulis Teo said, this is another example of world map implementation in Cath Kids mobile game. Based on informative judgment, religion expresses its power of communication in its will to wield the power to dominate the event of death and build a bridge between the visible and the invisible, Pace stated. Religion is often viewed as a bridge between the visible and the invisible, facilitating a connection between people and the divine during religious practices. In a summary, this is what I think the future is. Taiwanese temple culture exemplified this by blending elements of Buddhism and Taoism, where divination and deity statues play a crucial part in ritual. The primary aim is to resolve issues and help individuals achieve harmony. Figure 15, 16, 17, and 18 are the photos I took at the London Foguangshan Temple. As you can see, our deity statues took important part in the temple. Here is the survey. The charts were created by me. The charts illustrate the acceptance of digitalization in Taiwanese temples based on a sample of 20 Taiwanese Buddhists. Participants range from age 30 to 70, with 5 individuals in each age group, divided into 4 groups. Overall, younger participants, age 30 to 40, have embraced the concept of virtual temples, finding that these digital spaces bring excitement and enhance their connection with the gods. In contrast, older participants, especially those over 51, tend to be more traditional and prefer physical temples, believing that worshipping before visible statues is a more respectful way to honor the deities. Additionally, I asked about the perceived value of digital fortune sticks. Interestingly, while participants aged 61 to 70 generally do not accept digital temples, they do find digital fortune sticks to hold some significance. As a result, physical temples continue to play a crucial role for Taiwanese Buddhists. This is the future we want. Creating a Taiwanese temple within a digital environment, complete with online tasks, could redefine the use of virtual worlds as mindful sanctuaries. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal is to reach nirvana, to complete the task and to achieve satisfaction. The game would be more meaningful for the users. Moreover, the digital temple serves not only as an online sanctuary, but also as a distinctive representation of Taiwanese temple culture, which has the potential to attract online visitors from around the globe to experience it. A virtual temple would be especially valuable for Taiwanese Buddhists and Taoists residing in Western countries, or for believers seeking peace during times of mental vulnerability. Incorporating these features into a virtual space could enhance platforms like Second Life, transforming them into more valuable venues for religious practices. This is the future we don't want. The social stigma of divination as superstition, which still prevail today, Homola stated. As digital temples emerge, a more complex network of interactions will develop, inevitably attracting the individual with malicious intentions, who may use these platforms to defraud others of property and personal information. Given a social atmosphere that emphasizes 趋吉避凶, seeking good fortune and avoiding misfortune, many people visit temples seeking peace of mind. Sometimes people are only receptive to positive messages and ignore the advice that may be perceived as unfavorable. This makes them particularly susceptible to deception. The last thing we want is for people to be exploited because of their religious beliefs. Therefore, strict data protection is necessary. Finally, conclusion and developing the practices. The concept of an interactive Taiwanese temple holds great potential. By allowing digital and physical temples to coexist, people of all ages can experience the spiritual comfort of connecting with the gods. Digitizing traditional culture not only helps to internationalize Taiwan's cultural heritage, but also provides support to those who cannot visit physical temples. This digital approach diversifies access to religious resources, empowering people to address physical, mental, and spiritual challenges more accessibly. As I continue developing these practices, I see this approach as a valid way to engage with my audience. For instance, I plan to create an interactive temple game with 5 tasks, symbolizing the 5 skandha in Buddhism, inviting participants to immerse themselves in the heart of Prajnaparamita Sutra. My primary audience includes Taiwanese Buddhists and anyone interested in exploring Taiwanese temple culture. The interactive device will be placed in a small temple model to reflect both physical and interactive temples. Figure 19 is interactive temple video game. Another element of my work involves an interactive storytelling board focused on the Mazu pilgrimage, one of Taiwan's most significant religious events. By using P5JS, I aim to introduce Mazu and highlight her profound impact on believers through a range of creative possibilities. The digital device will be placed in the small temple model as well. These installations blend traditional Buddhist teaching with interaction design to explore new forms of communication and digital spirituality. The designs reflect Buddhist principles and invite participants to experience the unique essence of Taiwanese temple culture. Thank you, and are there any questions?